the gentle hush before the day fully wakes, the garden feels like a secret soft light resting on leaves, a breeze carrying the faint scent of earth and blossoms. Welcome to TERAFLORA Studio, a place where creativity takes root and blooms into ideas you can truly bring to life with your own hands. Today, we journey together through designs that are not just beautiful, but possible projects shaped by patience, love for the land, and the quiet joy of crafting something with care. Whether your garden is a wide meadow or a tiny balcony, here you'll find inspiration that speaks softly yet lingers long after the video ends. Before we begin, it's important to share this with you clearly. The content you're about to enjoy has been thoughtfully created and arranged using AI assistance. Every image, every word, and every detail has been guided by human vision but supported by the tools of modern creativity, blending imagination with possibility. As you watch, let the stories and visuals unfold slowly, like petals opening to the sun. Allow yourself to dream of colors, textures, and forms that could find a home in your own space. If this vision resonates with you, I invite you gently, warmly, to become part of our growing garden community. By subscribing to TERAFLORA Studio, you're not just supporting a channel, but nurturing a shared space where ideas flourish, where discarded things find new purpose, and where every viewer becomes a fellow creator. So, breathe deeply, settle in, and let's wander together into a world where the past is renewed, the ordinary is reimagined, and every corner of your home or garden can tell its own quiet, beautiful story. In the early light of morning, a garden reveals its quiet character. Along the edge of a flower bed, pieces of wood once part of a beloved recliner now hold a new purpose, framing the blooms in warm, weathered tones. These reclaimed armrests, softened by years of use, bring a gentle honesty to the space, their curves and grain telling stories before a single plant was placed here. The tulips sway lightly in the breeze, their petals catching the sun, while daisies nod beside them like small bursts of joy. Between the wood and the green, there's a harmony that feels both rustic and deliberate. It's a reminder that beauty often emerges not from what is new, but from what is given a second life. Creating a border like this is as simple as it is rewarding. Start by salvaging solid wooden armrests from an old recliner, sanding them to remove rough edges while keeping the natural patina. Arrange them along the edge of your bed, either in straight lines for a neat look or in soft curves that follow the land's contours. Secure them with wooden stakes if needed, especially on uneven ground. Behind this border, your planting choices can shift with the seasons. In spring, bright flowers like tulips and daffodils bring energy. In summer, marigolds and hydrangeas fill the space with color and texture. For a vegetable patch, leafy greens and herbs create a lush, edible backdrop that blends beauty with practicality. The charm of using old wood is in its imperfection. Sunlight dances on each dent and mark, and the edges darken with rain. Over time, the border becomes part of the garden's own memory, changing with the seasons and weather. As you step back and look at your work, the satisfaction is more than visual. It's the feeling of having created something lasting from what was once forgotten. A rustic garden edging like this isn't just a boundary. It's an invitation, drawing the eye to the blooms and the heart to the simple pleasure of renewal. Some fences exist only to mark a boundary. Others become part of the garden's soul. In a small backyard, where space feels precious, a fence woven from golden bamboo poles and aged recliner wood transforms a simple enclosure into a work of art. The bamboo stands tall, catching the afternoon light in soft amber tones. Between each stalk, weathered wooden panels, once part of a comfortable chair, fit snugly, their grains and knots adding depth to the design. Together, they create a rhythm of smooth and textured, light and dark, that draws the eye without overwhelming the space. Walking along the fence, you notice the plants that frame it, sunflowers turning their heads toward the sun, lavender swaying gently in the breeze, snapdragons adding bursts of color. The fence doesn't just hold the garden in. It invites the outside world to admire it. To build your own, start with sturdy bamboo poles for the vertical frame. Position them evenly, then slide or secure reclaimed wood panels between them. If the wood is untreated, a light sanding and a protective seal will help preserve its beauty while keeping its character intact. For extra charm, tie sections together with natural jute twine, small details that make the structure feel handcrafted. This kind of fence is especially suited for small yards because it adds visual height without feeling heavy. The bamboo's slim profile keeps the design airy, while the reclaimed wood brings warmth and a sense of history. You can even attach small hanging planters or lanterns to the panels, blending function and decoration seamlessly. As the day shifts toward evening, the fence takes on new life. The setting sun filters through the gaps, painting stripes of golden light across the ground. Shadows stretch and soften, wrapping the space in a gentle calm. In that quiet moment, you realize the fence isn't just a boundary. It's a backdrop for life in the garden. It frames the laughter of a summer gathering, the stillness of a morning coffee, and the slow, steady growth of everything it shelters inside. Quiet corners of a small garden, even the humblest materials can shape beauty. Old wooden panels, once part of a recliner, stand now as guardians of a flower bed. Their surfaces are worn and familiar, painted in faded pastels that catch the light just enough to brighten the earth they hold. Cosmos and pansies spill over the edges, their colors glowing against the soft mint, pale blue, and cream of the boards. The gravel path beside them crunches gently underfoot, leading you along a border that feels more like a keepsake than a structure. Every knot in the wood, every chipped edge, carries a story of hands and years past. To create a border like this, begin by salvaging sturdy panels from unwanted furniture. Lightly sand them, but don't erase the marks of time. They are part of the charm. If you wish, give them a coat of pastel paint, allowing the grain to show through for a weathered, farmhouse feel. Secure them into the soil with small stakes or by partially burying the base. The plants you choose will complete the picture. Herbs like basil, thyme, and rosemary bring scent and utility, while flowers such as daisies, geraniums, or marigolds add color and movement. Consider placing smooth stones or low ground cover plants along the inside edge to create layers of texture. The appeal of reclaimed wood lies in its honesty. It doesn't try to look perfect, it simply belongs. Over time, sun and rain will change it, deepening its character and binding it more closely to the garden. In the cool morning, the boards might feel damp beneath your fingertips. In the afternoon, they'll be warm from the sun. Standing here, you realize that this border is more than just a divider. It's a reminder that design doesn't have to be costly or complicated to be meaningful. With patience, a little creativity, and the willingness to see potential in the forgotten, you can frame your garden in a way that feels both personal and timeless. In the quiet embrace of a Japanese-inspired garden, the air feels softer, the colors gentler. Here, every element is placed with intention, and even the most unassuming material can become part of something timeless. Along a curved edge, pieces of wood from an old recliner have been reborn, weathered and warm, tracing the line between earth and bloom. Within this border, a mound of moss cushions vibrant azalea shrubs, their petals unfolding like whispers against the green. Nearby, a stone lantern stands in patient stillness, its surface marked by years and seasons. A bamboo fountain trickles water into a small basin, the sound steady and calming, like a slow heartbeat for the space. This harmony between reclaimed materials and natural elements is at the heart of the design. To create your own, begin with weathered wood, curved or straight pieces salvaged from furniture that act as low borders or dividers. Pair them with stone, gravel, or river rock for balance, and let moss or ground cover weave gently between. A pond can deepen the sense of peace. Even a small one, edged with recycled wood and smooth stones, can host lilies that open in the sun and koi that glide in slow arcs. The combination of movement and stillness is key. Water ripples beside the unchanging wood. Flowers bloom and fade while the lantern remains. This style invites a slower pace in both making and enjoying. As you place each stone, set each piece of wood, you are not just building a garden. You are shaping a rhythm, one that continues long after you finish. Over time, the wood will silver in the sun, moss will thicken, and the water's voice will become as familiar as your own breath. Standing here, you can feel the garden asking nothing more than your presence. It's a place where the past, carried in the grain of reclaimed wood, meets the present in every living leaf and flowing drop. A reminder that beauty is not about abundance, but about balance between old and new, natural and made, movement and stillness. In the intimate corners of a garden, privacy is more than a barrier. It's an embrace. A divider made from the unexpected beauty of old recliner springs and cushions transforms a simple space into a haven, not by shutting the world out, but by weaving life into the walls around you. Along the patio's edge, metal springs rise vertically within a wooden frame, their curves and coils like a sculptor's work. Twining through them are the green tendrils of climbing jasmine and morning glories, blossoms opening in the warmth, releasing fragrance that drifts with the breeze. Each bloom finds its place among the metal's graceful arcs, softening the structure without hiding its story. Nearby, a second panel tells a different tale. Reupholstered recliner cushions, stitched in cheerful floral patterns, sit neatly inside a frame, their colors echoing the surrounding blooms. Geraniums and ferns fill the space with texture and scent, creating a corner that feels both vibrant and sheltered. To build such a divider, begin with a sturdy frame. Salvage springs from an old recliner, clean them, and mount them vertically or horizontally depending on your design. For a softer style, reuse seat cushions, covering them in fabric that can withstand weather while reflecting your garden's palette. Adding plants, either climbing vines through the springs or hanging pots from the frame, ensures that the divider is alive and changing with the seasons. As day turns to evening, string lights along the divider's edge, their glow catching in the metal curves or reflecting from the cushion's patterns. The light turns the space into a retreat, inviting conversation or quiet reflection. This kind of privacy screen doesn't just mark a boundary, it becomes part of the garden's personality. It changes with the growth of plants, the shift of light, and the life that gathers around it. The springs carry the memory of comfort from the chair they once were. The cushions hold the warmth of hands that stitched them anew. Together, they offer not only shelter, but a living reminder that beauty can rise from what was once forgotten, creating spaces where you can truly feel at home. In a quiet corner of the garden, the scent of fresh herbs mingles with the warmth of sunlit wood. Here, farmhouse-style planters built from reclaimed recliner frames stand in soft harmony with the earth, their whitewashed surfaces glowing gently against the greenery they cradle. Handwritten tags sway in the breeze: basil, parsley, mint, names that promise flavor and fragrance. Each box carries the charm of rustic simplicity, the wood bearing faint marks from its former life, now softened and given new purpose. The air is alive with the mingled perfume of rosemary and thyme, spilling over the edges as if eager to greet every passerby. Building such planters is a satisfying blend of practicality and beauty. Begin by salvaging sturdy wooden sections from old recliners, removing hardware and sanding the surfaces smooth. A coat of whitewash or a light stain will enhance the grain while protecting the wood. Assemble them into boxes or raised beds, using their original shapes to your advantage. Herbs thrive in well-draining soil, so line the bottom with gravel before filling with a rich, compost-blended mix. Plant taller herbs like rosemary or sage toward the back, with cascading varieties like thyme or oregano at the edges. Between them, tuck in basil, parsley, or cilantro fresh essentials for the kitchen. Placed near an outdoor dining space or a simple kitchen garden corner, these planters make harvesting a joy. A quick step outside and your hand brushes through mint leaves for tea, or snips a sprig of basil to finish a meal. Their presence brings both function and charm, a reminder that beauty in the garden can be as useful as it is pleasing to the eye. As afternoon light deepens to gold, the planters cast soft shadows across the gravel path. Bees drift between blooms, the watering can waits nearby, and the scent of herbs fills the warm air. In moments like this, the garden becomes more than a place to grow. It becomes a place to live. These farmhouse herb planters, born from what others might discard, carry a quiet grace. They are proof that with a little vision and care, you can cultivate both beauty and abundance, season after season. In the gentle embrace of late afternoon sunlight, the garden reveals its quiet centerpiece, a gazebo adorned with accents crafted from junked recliner legs. Each wooden piece, once part of a forgotten chair, has been sanded smooth, its grain brought back to life with a warm stain. Time has etched subtle lines into the wood, giving it a character that blends effortlessly with the natural world. Around the base, lavender bushes sway, their fragrance drifting into the soft air. The wooden balusters, reclaimed from curved recliner legs, guide the eye upward to where the roofline rests on corbels carved from the same salvaged pieces. This meeting of form and function creates a sense of grace, proof that sustainability can live hand in hand with elegance. To create such accents yourself, begin by collecting recliner legs with interesting curves or sturdy structure. Sand them gently, preserving the knots and imperfections that tell their story. Choose a stain that enhances their warmth, or leave them in their natural tone for a more weathered, rustic feel. Attach them thoughtfully to your gazebo's frame, whether as balusters, corbels, or decorative trims. The true magic comes when plants join the design. Encourage vines, wisteria, climbing roses, or morning glory to weave themselves among the wood, softening lines and adding bursts of color through the seasons. At the gazebo's entrance, frame the path with stones and let the flowers spill gently toward it, as though nature itself is inviting you inside. As evening nears, golden light spills over every curve and grain, highlighting the union of reclaimed craftsmanship and living beauty. The air hums softly with bees, and the wooden accents glow as if holding the last warmth of the day. Inside, a small table waits with tea, ready for quiet moments or shared laughter. This is not just a garden structure, it is a poem built in wood and sunlight. By reimagining something discarded, you create a haven that speaks of care, patience, and the joy of giving old materials a second life. And in that act, your gazebo becomes more than shelter. It becomes a story, told in the language of wood, flowers, and the slow turning of days. In the quietest corner of a small garden, the sea seems to have drifted ashore. Here, weathered driftwood rests in the form of a humble bench, its smooth curves shaped by years of tides and wind. Above, sail-like shades cut from old recliner fabric billow softly in the breeze, catching the light the way a sail catches wind. Underfoot, blue glass mulch glistens like fragments of the ocean, mingling with white pebbles that crunch gently with each step. Ornamental grasses sway, their movement echoing the rhythm of waves on a calm day. The air carries a whisper of salt, imagined but vivid, as if the sea itself is close enough to hear. To create your own seascape corner, begin with driftwood or weathered timber. pieces that carry the story of nature's patience. Sand them just enough to remove splinters while keeping their organic form intact. For shade, repurpose recliner fabric into simple panels or sails, fastening them with sturdy rope or reclaimed hooks. Choose fabrics in muted blues, creams, or sandy tones to evoke the shoreline. Around the seating, scatter seashells, smooth stones, or even a small lantern shaped like a lighthouse. Plant ornamental grasses, lavender, or low coastal flowers that sway with the wind and soften the scene. If space allows, a small water feature can complete the illusion. A gentle trickle of water to stand in for the sea's voice. As the sun shifts, the sails of fabric change color and tone, moving from bright ivory in midday to soft gold in late afternoon. Cushions in soft blues and creams invite you to sit and linger, perhaps with a book, perhaps just with your thoughts. The setting feels both intimate and open, a sanctuary where the mind can wander to distant horizons. This little corner, born from reclaimed wood and worn fabric, becomes more than a garden accent. It is a quiet voyage, proof that with imagination and care, even the smallest space can carry the vastness of the sea. Every piece tells a story, every breeze brings a new chapter, and every visit feels like returning to a place both new and deeply familiar. In the heart of a small backyard, a pergola stands like an open embrace, its roof crafted from the slats of old recliner upholstery wood. Each plank, once hidden inside the quiet comfort of a chair, now greets the sky, letting sunlight spill through in gentle mosaics that dance on the table below. The wood carries the softness of time, its grain rich and warm, its edges worn yet sturdy. When you look closely, you can still see the faint marks of its past life, a reminder that beauty often blooms in places touched by age. Above, the slats are spaced just enough to let in the light while offering shade, creating a rhythm of sun and shadow that shifts with the hours. Around this humble structure, nature leans in. Ferns drape gracefully from hanging baskets, their fronds swaying with the breeze. Petunias spill their colors over the edges, and ivy climbs upward, winding its way along the pergola's posts as if it knows it belongs here. To create your own pergola roof from reclaimed wood, begin by salvaging panels or slats from old recliners or wooden furniture. Sand them gently, just enough to smooth the surface without erasing their character. Stain or oil them if you wish, but allow the wood's natural grain to speak. Install them evenly, leaving small gaps for light to filter through. For a more inviting feel, place a wooden table or a bench beneath the pergola. Add a potted herb garden nearby or hang small lanterns that glow softly at dusk. The combination of reclaimed wood and living greenery will turn even the smallest backyard into a retreat worth lingering in. In the afternoon, when the sun dips lower, the shadows grow longer and softer, wrapping the space in quiet gold. The pergola becomes more than just a shade. It's a place where you can sip tea slowly, share stories with a friend, or simply listen to the gentle hum of the garden. Here, the past and present meet under one roof, reminding you that with a little vision, every forgotten piece of wood can find a new story, and every backyard, no matter how small, can hold a corner of peace. In the quiet corners of a sunlit garden, the earth wears a soft embrace, a border made not from stone or steel, but from leather that has known another life. These straps, once holding the weight of comfort in an old recliner, now hold the soil in gentle curves, guiding the garden's edges with warmth and grace. The leather's surface tells its own story. Creases like rivers map the journeys of years past, while the rich brown tones deepen under the touch of sunlight. Against this earthy frame, marigolds glow in golden bursts, basil whispers its fresh scent into the air, and mint leaves catch the light like tiny green mirrors. The contrast is tender, soft leather meeting strong roots, aged material cradling new growth. Creating this edging is a process of both craft and care. Begin by salvaging leather straps from an old recliner, letting them rest in the sun to relax their natural bends. Avoid forcing them straight. Follow their curves, letting them shape the garden's path. Secure each strap with simple wooden stakes, pressing them into the soil until they stand firm. The result is not rigid lines but flowing borders, like a gentle hand tracing the outline of your garden beds. To make the scene even more alive, plant herbs and flowers whose colors and scents mingle beautifully. Zinnias with their bursts of joy, basil with its culinary promise, and mint for the refreshing breath it brings to summer evenings. As the sun arcs across the day, the leather warms, releasing a faint earthy aroma, while its texture grows richer under weather's touch. This kind of edging asks for patience, but it rewards you with something that feels deeply personal. There's no factory-perfect symmetry, only the honest lines of something shaped by both history and your own hands. When the light softens toward evening, the border seems to glow from within, the leather catching the last rays of gold. It is a reminder that the garden is more than a place for plants. It's a space where stories live. The story of a chair that became a boundary, of materials reborn, and of a gardener who saw not waste, but possibility. In the gentle light of a summer afternoon, the garden fence is no longer just a boundary. It has become a canvas of memory and color. Along its weathered wooden posts, small banners sway in the breeze. Each one is cut from the faded fabric of old recliner cushions, stitched lovingly with buttons that once fastened comfort into place. The buttons themselves are tiny treasures, sun-worn yellows, ocean blues, deep reds softened by time. Some still hold their original shine, while others were the patina of years, each telling a story of where they've been. Now, they live anew, catching the sunlight as they move, casting playful shadows onto the blooms below. It is a simple creation, yet it transforms the garden's atmosphere. The fabric squares, stitched with clusters of buttons, hang from the fence using rustic twine. They flutter softly when the wind passes, as if whispering secrets to the lavender, petunias, and zinnias at their feet. The air smells of earth and blossoms, while the fence hums with this quiet display of repurposed joy. Making your own version is an act of both craft and affection. Gather fabric from old cushions. Choose those with gentle patterns or colors that feel like home. Cut them into squares or rectangles. Sew on buttons in playful arrangements, and attach them loosely so they can sway freely. The beauty lies in the movement, in how sunlight dances across the textures, and in how the flowers seem to lean toward the color. What's special here is the way these little banners invite connection. Neighbors might pause at your gate, smiling at the bright touches among the greenery. Children might stop to run their fingers across the smooth or ridged surfaces of the buttons. It is interactive art, woven into the life of the garden. By evening, when the light turns golden, the fence takes on a warm glow. Each patch becomes a small lantern of color, framed by the quiet hum of bees and the rustle of leaves. And you, standing there with the scent of flowers in the air, realize that this is more than decoration. It is a way of telling your garden story, of saying that every piece of our past can still bring beauty to the present. In a narrow strip of backyard where every inch matters, a pergola rises gracefully, an unexpected marriage of bamboo's natural rhythm and the warm character of reclaimed wood. The slender bamboo poles reach upward like quiet sentinels, their golden tones glowing in the afternoon sun. Across the top, beams crafted from the armrests of an old recliner stretch with purpose, carrying the marks of their former life yet offering something entirely new. Beneath this gentle shelter, the world slows down. A rustic wooden bench, softened with cushions sewn from reclaimed upholstery fabric, waits patiently. The fabric bears colors that have aged like fine wine, deep blues, faded greens, and warm reds that echo the hues of the surrounding garden. Vines of morning glory spill gracefully from above, their blossoms catching bits of sunlight that filter through the lattice, painting the ground in moving patterns. Creating this kind of pergola doesn't require a vast budget, only a willingness to see beauty in the overlooked. Bamboo, sturdy yet light, makes perfect vertical supports. Old recliner parts, especially wooden armrests or legs, offer a rustic charm that new materials can't replicate. With careful measuring and patient assembly, they join together in a structure that feels both timeless and personal. The magic comes in the details. Mason jar lanterns dangle from the beams, waiting for dusk to turn them into a canopy of stars. Small pots of herbs and flowers line the edges, their scent mingling with the woody aroma of bamboo. The pergola doesn't just create shade, it frames the space, giving even a narrow backyard the feeling of a secret retreat. As you sit beneath it, perhaps with a cup of tea in hand, you feel the texture of the wood under your fingers, hear the soft rustle of leaves above, and watch the play of light and shadow on the ground. This is more than a garden feature. It's a gathering place for quiet thoughts, a backdrop for shared laughter, a corner where time is measured not by clocks, but by the changing light. And in the simple act of pairing bamboo with reclaimed wood, you've built something more than a structure. You've created a story, one that speaks of renewal, intention, and the quiet joy of making something with your own hands. In the gentle embrace of a small garden, color blooms not only from the flowers, but from the very edges that cradle them. Here, an unexpected pairing brings life and charm. Recliner wheels, once rolling quietly across living room floors, now set firmly into the earth, forming graceful curves along a flower bed. Their shapes are softened by pastel paint, mint green, sky blue, soft yellow, each hue a cheerful whisper to the blooms above. Woven through the spokes, strips of colorful upholstery fabric dance in the breeze. Some are floral, echoing the petals they frame. Others are bold and striped, adding a playful contrast to the softness of marigolds, petunias, and cosmos in full bloom. Together, the metal and fabric create a frame that feels both nostalgic and freshly alive. There's a kind of magic in this combination. The wheels, with their sturdy form and subtle rust, speak of time past and stories lived. The fabric brings warmth and whimsy, like ribbons at a summer fair. And the flowers, well, they do what flowers do best: turn every space into a celebration. Crafting such a border is wonderfully simple. Begin by salvaging old recliner wheels. Clean them, and if you wish, add a coat of paint in your favorite colors. Select fabric strips from worn cushions or leftover upholstery, preferably in patterns and shades that make your heart lift. Weave them loosely through the wheel spokes, letting some ends flutter free to catch the light and air. Set the wheels into the soil along your chosen path or bed, spacing them to create a rhythm that guides the eye. As the flowers grow and spill over, the border becomes less of a barrier and more of an embrace, one that gathers blossoms and sunlight in equal measure. On a warm afternoon, when the air smells of earth and petals, you'll see how the fabric sways gently, how the painted wheels catch glints of light, and how the flowers seem to lean toward their colorful companions. It's a design that doesn't just edge your garden. It tells a story of reuse, of finding beauty in the forgotten, and of weaving the past into the present with care and joy. And so, our time together in this gentle space comes to an end. The ideas we've explored today, born from creativity, patience, and a love for renewal, are more than just projects. They are quiet invitations to look at the world around you and see possibility where others see the ordinary. In every reclaimed piece of wood, in every reused fabric, in every corner of the garden we've imagined, there lies a story waiting to be told. These aren't just designs for the eye. They are small acts of care for the earth, for your home, and for yourself. As you step back into your own space, I hope you carry with you a spark, a gentle reminder that beauty doesn't always demand the new. Sometimes, it grows from what's already in your hands, waiting to be shaped with intention. Here at TERAFLORA Studio, we believe that inspiration should feel like sunlight through leaves, soft, warm, and lasting. If this journey has brought you a moment of peace, a smile, or a new idea to try, I invite you to stay connected with us. By subscribing to TERAFLORA Studio, you join a community that celebrates creativity without waste, design with heart, and the quiet magic of making something your own. Every click of the subscribe button is a small seed, helping this space grow so we can continue sharing ideas that inspire and soothe. Until we meet again in the next story, may your days be full of gentle discoveries, your hands busy with beautiful work, and your heart light with the joy of creating. Thank you for walking this path with me today. I look forward to our next moment together.